So let us continue our discussion for today. For the word example, the principles that we have discussed on previous class. The ORL. Let us recap of how we are going to write the ORL. So it is represented by the forward curve. The O and the R and the L. So we have some example here. As I have mentioned during our previous lesson that your shorthand stroke depends on how you're going to pronounce the word correctly or the sounds. So let us identify for the word do. So we have letter D and O. So we have also no. Some example of the letter E. For the do, we have letter D. So the D can occupy the half space of the line of our paper. For the no, we have straight stroke and O. E. Example. For letter R, we have E and R and E and R. Clockwise E and R. Later part of our discussion, I will discuss or I will present to you the principles of joining. Bear with me. What kind of direction of the circle? It is counter or clockwise. For the word near, we have N-E-R. So we have letter N, then counterclockwise E and R. For the example of letter L, we have M-A-L, male. We have M, then counterclockwise A and L. For the lay, we have letter L, then counter A. Low, we have L and O. Letter H. The letter H is very easy to identify. It is represented by a dot. When you write the word, when it represents the letter H is a dot, so the letter H is written after the last stroke. So what is our first stroke? Letter E. So small circle E and a dot. For the home, we have H, O, and M. So we are going to write the letter O first, then O and M, and the letter H. So ing is also represented by a dot. Kanina, the letter H is represented by a dot above the vowel. But it's easy for you to recognize the word ending in ing, like the word hearing, hitting, is also represented by a dot. Let us try to write. So for the word hearing, what is our first row? Counter, clockwise E and R and dot. If the letter H is represented by a dot above the vowel, for the word ending in ing, it is represented by a dot after the consonant. For the hitting, clockwise E and T. Then, we are going to read this one, hit. And we have to add another dot. Word ending in ing is hitting. Then the next principle, uuhuk and letter K and G. Long U or uuhuk is represented by forward curve. So that is an opposite of O, R, and L. Long U, K, and the letter G. Example, for the long U, we have suit. We have letter S, long U, and T. Pour, we have letter P, long U, and R. So we're going to combine this stroke after identifying the sounds. Right, S, long U, and letter T. For the pour, we have letter P, then long U, and R. For the W in the beginning of the word is also represented by the long U. So like the word we. So long U and E. Way, long U and A. And the wife, long U, then broken circle I and F. Let's proceed for the letter K. We have cake. So we have letter K, A, and K. So we have letter K, A, and K. For the lake, we have L, A, and K. We have L, then clockwise A and K. For the increase, increase in the word beginning in, as increase is also represented by N. So we have letter N, K, R, E, and S. So we have to combine these strokes. We have N, then letter K, R, then counter E, and left S. For the letter G, G, A, and N. We have letter G, clockwise A, and N. For the word gate, we have letter G, A, and T. For Gabe, we have letter G, then clockwise A, and V. So, we have two forms of ITH. We have over ITH, the over. Example, again, don't confuse what kind of ITH you are going to use. It's either over ITH or the under ITH. This, we have over ITH, E, and H. For the then, we have over ITH, E, and N. So for the under ITH, we have an example. We have TH and O. We have under O. Health. So again, there is an H. So we have to write the first shorthand stroke. For the E, counter E and L, then under ITH and H. For the ISH, CH and J. So this will be our last presentation of the 25 to complete the 25 shorthand stroke. For the ISH, we have she. The sounds of ISH, she, shown. Family is this, is a downward, straight, slant stroke. We have ISH, 1/4, half, and the J can occupy the whole space. For the word she, ISH and clockwise E. Show, ISH and O. For the CH. So the word church, as I have mentioned, every time that we have to discuss that our shorthand stroke depends on how you're going to pronounce the word correctly or the sounds. Church. So we have CH, E, then R, and CH. So let us combine. So we have CH. So CH, counter E, R, and CH. For the teach, so we have T, counter E, and CH. For the J, we have, how you're going to read this one? H, large, jury. That is the sounds of J. So we have A. So since the letter J can occupy the whole space, so we have to start writing the circle above the line. We have clockwise A and J. For the large, we have L, A, R, or counterclockwise A, then J. For the jury, we have J, then long U or hook, then R and E. So let us combine the J, long U, R, and counterclockwise E. Okay, let us proceed to our discussion. So our last part of our discussion for today is about the principles of joining. As I have mentioned kanina, already how to join the circles and how you are going to use also the left S and the comma S. Kaya yan ang pinaka-common na problem or common questions. What kind of S, left S or right S, or the circles, it's either counterclockwise or clockwise. So this is actually the answer to our questions. So principles of joining the circles. So circles are written inside and outside angle. When we say inside angles, so it is based on clockwise. So kung ang clock nag-start dito sa 12, so 12 to 1. Then counterclockwise from 12 to 1. So we have an example. We had appeal. We have A, P, and E, and L. What direction you are going to use? You already noticed that we join the circles to left motion. What are those left motion? We have P, B. That is why the left S is also designed for joining the P, B, and B. When there is actually the circle joining the P and the B, we are going to use the counterclockwise A or any circle counterclockwise. P considered as left motion, so therefore the writing of the circle is we using the counterclockwise. So counterclockwise A, P, then counter E and L. So the G and the V, so there we have G, E, and V. So that is G. So therefore, we have to use the clockwise, G and V. Therefore, when the circle is joined to right motion, so the circle now, E or A, is written using clockwise. 2. Circles are written using clockwise on a straight stroke. So what are those straight strokes? We have letter M, and we have ISH, CH, and letter J. And also letter T, T, D. Okay, and the word may. Our second principle says that the circle are written using clockwise. So M and A. So therefore, you have to use the clockwise when it is joined to straight stroke. We have M and A. For the man, we have M, clockwise, A, and N. For the date, since the T and the D belong to straight stroke, the same direction, so therefore we have to use the clockwise. We have letter D, then clockwise A, and the T. Third principle, we have between two curves written in opposite directions. So what are those opposite directions? We have O, R, L, Uuhok or long U, we have K and the G. So these are the example. So since letter K and R are opposite direction, K and the R, so between two curves written in opposite direction, the circle is written on the back of the first curve. In the word car, our first curve is K, right? So therefore, we have to write the letter K on the side of the letter. We have letter K, then A and R. Or gear, the G and the R are opposite direction. So we have G and E and R. So again, the circle when it is joined to the two opposite directions, the circle is written on the back of the first curve. For the word lake, so we have L. So since the letter L is our first forward curve, so therefore the letter A is written on the back of the first curve. Next, O. The O is written on each side when it is joined to straight stroke, like the word O. The O and N. So the O and N. So again, letter O or O hook is written on each side when it is joined to straight stroke. So the N is straight stroke, the M is straight stroke. So therefore, how we are going to write the home? So what is our first stroke? Again, when there is an H, so our next stroke will be our first stroke. So letter O and M. So do not write this one as O and M. We have to follow our principles of joining that the letter O or O hook is written on each side when it is joined to a straight stroke. But there's an exception to the rule. So phone, so this is letter F, O, and N. We have letter F, O, and N. So we will not use the writing of own and home for the word phone because F is a downward. Only those strokes that represents only a straight stroke. The word bone, we have B, O, and N. Zone, we have S, O, and N. For long U, the long U or hook is written on each side after letter N and M, like the O when it is joined to straight stroke also. For the word news, so we have N, long U, and S. So we have letter N, then long U, and S. Noon. So in between two strokes, the long U is also written on each side. We have N, long U, and N. For the word moon, we have M, then long U, and N. Under ITH, using the two kinds of ITH, the under and ITH, and over ITH. So under ITH, you are going to use the under ITH when it is joined to O, R, and L. So though, the word though. So therefore, we have to use the under ITH because our principle says that in using the under ITH when it is joined to O, R, and L. So we have under ITH and O. So under and O. Through, so letter R. We have under ITH, long U, R and long U. Throw. So there's an R. So therefore, you have to use the under ITH. So under ITH and O. So over ITH except ORL. So the rest, you have to use the over ITH. So except ORL, the over ITH is used. Like the word this. So over ITH, E and S. Then thick, we have over ITH. Clockwise E and K. Then, over ITH, E and N. Again, using the under and ITH. So, under ITH, when it is joined to O, R, and L. Then, the over ITH except O, R, L. The rest of the principles, you have to use the over ITH. We go to the right S and left S. Aside from the clockwise and counterclockwise, some of you also may problem what kind of S that you are going to use. It's either right S or the left S. In using the right S, it is joined or before and after F, V, K, and the G. So before the F, V, K, and the G, the right S is used. You have example, saves, S, N, and V, and S. So there's a V. So therefore, you have to write the right S or the comma S. So you have to write the first because the V can occupy the whole space. So we have right S, A, V, and right S. So before and after. Like the word 6. So before K, there is an S. So before and after. So therefore, you have to use the right S. We have right S, clockwise K, and S. Right S. And not only for the F, B, K, and G, the right S is also used before and after ISH, CH, and the J. Like the word sessions. So therefore, before and after the ISH, there's an S. So the comma S is used. So we have comma S or right S, then clockwise E, ISH, and right S. So we have reaches. We have R, E, clockwise, and CH, and right S. Not only F, B, K, and G, ISH, CH, the right S is also used before T, D, N, M, O. When we say before the T, D, and M, O, there is S, so you have to use the right S. Like the word stones. Before the T, and there's an S, and after the N, there's an S. So you have to use the right S. So we have right S, T, then O, our principles, when it is joined the O to straight stroke, the O is written on each side. Then, when stones, stones. So, there's an S after the N. Before T lang man. So, therefore, you have two S, a right S, O, N, and left S. Another one, using the right S, if there is consisting of S and A or the combination of S and A, so you have to use the right S. Like the word say. So S and A, right? And clockwise. When you combine the right S and circle, so when you write the right S or the comma S, automatic you are going to use clockwise A or any circle. Left S is the opposite of the right S. The left S is used before and after P, B, R, and L. The P, B, R, L are the opposite of the F, V, K, and the G. So therefore, you have to use the left S. And after the T, D, and M, O. Only before the T, D, and M, O is the right S. So after those strokes, the left S is used. Like the word sips, before PB. So before P, there is an S, and after. So therefore, you have to write the left S. When you use the left S, so automatic, this circle is also used as the counterclockwise. Again, so left S, counter E, P, and the S. So when you use the left S, there is a circle. So therefore, you have to use the direction of writing the E or A or any circle counterclockwise. Globe. So there is an S after the B. So therefore, you have to use the left S. So we have G, L, O, B, and left S. About this one, rods. So after the G, we have R, A, G. Then after the G is right S. Okay, solos. So there is an O before the O and S. So therefore, you have to write the S, right S. O and L. Then there is an O. Then again, there is an S after the O. So therefore, you have to use the left S. Needs. So after the D, what kind of S? Left or right? Use the left S. So we have N, then clockwise E, D, then left S. Let us continue writing and reading. I hope na you have to practice, you have to answer already your questions. What kind of directions in writing the letter A, counterclockwise or clockwise, and using also the right S and left S, and also the under ITH and over ITH, so two kinds of ITH. So I hope you have already answered all our questions before I present the different kinds of example or word example in every principles. I hope you have learned today the basic principles of joining. Okay, thank you everyone. Hope to see you next